Hello everyone and welcome to the Blueskills training program. My name is Isaac Gimbasin and I'm your coach on the program. This week's class we're going to be talking about empathy. So let me ask you a few questions. Do you have a problem relating with people? Do you always find yourself um, having conflict with family, friends? Do you have a problem seeing things from other people's point of view? It is highly possible that what you lack is empathy. What is empathy, you may ask? Empathy is basically the ability to emotionally understand what other people feel and see things from their point of view and also imagine yourself in their place. I'll take that again. Empathy is your ability to emotionally understand what other people feel, see things from their point of view, and imagine yourself in their place. Essentially, it is putting yourself in someone else's position and feeling what they are feeling. So, are you wondering if you are an empathetic person or an empathic person? Here are a few signs to show you if you are or not. Number one, if you are good at really listening to what others have to say, it means you have empathy. All right. Number two, if people often tell you about their problems, so you're this person that people just sit down. Sometimes you even meet people for the first time and they just find themselves opening up to you and telling you their problems. It is highly likely that what you have empathy as a skill. Next is that you are good at picking up on how people are feeling. You're able to just know how people are feeling. You know when people are feeling happy. You know when people are feeling sad. You just have a way of knowing. It's because you have the skill of empathy. Another sign that you are an empathic person is that you often think about how people feel. Okay, you're always wondering, okay, how would this person feel with this thing that's happened now? How would this person feel? How would this person survive? How you always this kind of things usually bother you is because what you have empathy. Next is you try to help others who are suffering. Okay, you can't tend to turn your eyes away from people who are going through a particular challenge or something bad has happened to. And you also have a way of also being happy or rejoicing. You find yourself always happy or rejoicing over something good has happened for someone and you rejoice as if you're the one it has happened to, is because you have a skill called empathy. Next is that you sometimes feel drained or overwhelmed in social situations. Another sign of empathy is that you care deeply about other people. They don't have to be your brothers, they don't have to be your sisters, they don't have to be your friends, but you really care deeply about people generally. And then you find it difficult to set boundaries in relationships, right? Because one thing with empathy is that you don't want people to feel hurt or feel bad. So it's a little bit difficult for you to set boundaries or let people know your mind, as we will say generally. So these are some signs of someone that has empathy as skill. Now we have three types of empathy. Number one, we have affective empathy. Number two, we have somatic empathy. And number three, we have cognitive empathy. I will explain all those big English in a moment. Now, what is affective empathy? Affective empathy involves the ability to understand another person's emotions and respond properly. Affective empathy. Affective empathy involves the ability to understand another person's emotion and respond appropriately. Somatic empathy involves having a physical reaction in response to what someone else is experiencing, right? So when I was younger, I used to have this somatic empathy because then when you beat my younger brother, I tend to cry, right? It's something that is very funny. Or have you seen a situation where maybe somebody was hit and then you hold your head? That's called somatic empathy. It didn't happen to you directly, but you kind of have a feeling of what the person went through when that particular thing happened, especially physically, right? Then the final one is cognitive empathy. Cognitive empathy involves being able to understand another person's mental state and what they might be thinking in response to the situation. Now, why is empathy very important? Number one, research shows that practicing empathy can, one, be beneficial to your mental health. Number two, it can improve your self-esteem and improve your relationship with yourself and then with others. Next is that it improves communication skills because now you tend to know how people are feeling, you tend to understand what they are going through, and it makes that you're able to communicate in a way that they can understand and flow with. Next word is that empathy makes that you easily know how to prevent or resolve conflict. Then empathy enhances work performance, and then empathy leads to better satisfaction at work and at home. Now, what are the ways to practice self-empathy? How do you practice this in your daily life? Number one, you need to be able to forgive yourself. Okay, so like I said, you need to know how to be nice to yourself. If you make mistakes or you have a setback and all of that, don't beat yourself up. Don't be hard on yourself. You need to learn how to forgive yourself. Be kind to yourself. Okay, then you need to be able to do positive self-talk. Is a very in previous courses we have talked about self-talk enough. So self-talk is also another way that you can practice empathy. Okay, because it helps you to understand yourself better. Then next, do not compare yourself with others. If you're going to be an empathetic person, don't always compare yourself to others. Because if you compare yourself to others, then you're going to assume that the same thing that happens to you is what happens to them. And remember, we said in the definition of empathy is that you're able to forget yourself for a moment and step into the other person's shoes to understand their emotions and understand what they are going through. Next is you have to practice active listening. Empathic people are people who listen, right? They are trying to understand. They are trying to catch where the person is coming from, and what the person is going through. Next is you must be able to withhold judgment and biases. So you are thinking a certain way. You will not be an empathetic person if you don't know how to withhold judgment, right? Then next is you must be open to other people's point of view. Everything must not be from your point of view or the way you see it or how you see it. So being open to other people's point of view is key to building empathy. Then listen before speaking. There are people who just want to talk, or they are listening. Even when they are listening but they already have the answers in their mind. Listen to people to understand and then respond based on what you understand from what they have said. Now, being empathetic to yourself and others may be challenging. It's something that you have to build over time, and it takes practice. However, practicing empathy is an important skill to work on, and it is very helpful skill for business, for work, and in life generally. Now, here's a reflection for you as we end this class today. How do you think that empathy can help you as a business person, as a career person, and then in life generally? Thank you, and I'll see you in the next class.